again, and I want to continue with my false flame story. I talked about my real flame and my false flame, but I want to talk more about the false flame because this is what led me into my real twin. So I have a lot of memories. I mean, I am not putting everything in order, but I can speak on, being blinded in a situation when you're with a twin. Okay, not knowing who they are. Okay, so I know that me and this person, we we had a strong connection. We would make up and break up all the time. And I didn't understand it in the beginning. Why does this person keep coming back after we argue? Okay, but a false twin could also return to you over and over again. Um, I want to speak on, you know, um, just getting to know that person, okay? Getting to know how their attitude was. I would say the attitude was very moody, for sure. Um, he was very argumentative. He liked to talk over me. I never really could get a word in, you know. So if I had an opinion, he would talk over me and, try to take over the whole conversation. How long can a twin flame story last? It can last as long as you let it last, okay? Because really, at the end of the day, it's only a choice. So I let my twin flame story last longer than it was supposed to because I wanted to see how it was going to end. So I remember the times that my false twin, he really didn't want me to get up under his skin, ask him questions. He knew I did tarot. Um, he used to come around me all the time, you know, and when he did come around me, we had fun. Then he would leave. So when he did leave, sometimes he would be like going through his struggles and stuff, And as a Sagittarius, when we see people going through stuff, we help them. I've been around this person when they lost their job, when they lost their vehicles, everything. So at some point, he didn't have a car. So I was like, you know what? You can borrow my car for half a day so you can get to work. He takes my car, and when he comes back, he tells me, oh, I was going a little bit later because I had to drop my uncle off at work. So when I looked at my car, what did I see? I seen a woman's lip gloss, and I'm like, okay, whose lip gloss is this? I know it's not mine, you know, but that was just one thing that I just ignored. Like, I don't know, I don't know where it came from, but he was like, I don't know how that got in there, you know. So again, he didn't have a car. I was like, okay, until you get a car, I'll help you. So he used to ask me to drop him off places. And I used to be like, okay, I'll drop you off. Where are you going? Are you going home? Are you going whatever? So he's like, okay, I'm going to go over my brother's house. I said, okay. So I'm riding down the street and I end up on the south side. Okay, it's like, hey, my cousin lives down the street. And he was telling me that it was some crazy excuse to why I could not go over there. Okay. So I was like, okay. I don't really remember what he said, but I just dropped him off on the corner. And I was like, okay, you know. But it became a habit. And Me as a Sagittarius, I'm like, hold up, like, where's you going? So I'm dropping you off on this corner. And then later on, I would just say maybe after dropping this person off about 5 different times, I just was like, no, if you want to get over there, you're going to have to find another way. So one day, something told me to drive down that street. And his car, like I said, his car was broken. Okay, but I didn't know the location of the vehicle. So my intuition says, drive down that street. When I drove down that street, I seen his car parked in that driveway. And I also noticed that it was the same house in the photos that he's been taking. So, like I said, my false twin was dating someone behind my back, someone that I went to school with, and that was her house. Okay. So, my false twin had me dropping him off at his false twin's house. Okay. I'm saying his false twin because later on I found out that that was his false twin, you know, just by doing tarot. Remember, I said I stopped doing tarot for a little bit. And then when I started looking into it, I started seeing what he was actually doing. Okay. So at that point, me and him mirrored each other. Okay. He was my false twin and he was dealing with a false twin. So I knew his hiding spot. I knew where he was going. And then, he went ahead and, cheated on that one, cheated on that female. She was a Gemini. And he cheated on her with a Capricorn. And I ended up finding out where the Capricorn lived at too, because again, I seen him one day and he just popped over my place and he was like, oh, I gotta, go check out and see what's going on with my uncle. So everybody is your uncle all of a sudden. That's my uncle's house, that's my cousin's house, or that's my brother's house or some shit like that. So we're riding down the street one day and I see him like, when you're driving and shit and somebody's trying to look past you and shit, he was trying to look over my head to see what was going down. Going on down the street, down the side street. And I was like, somebody that lived down there? He was like, oh yeah, my uncle lived down there, whatever, whatever. So now the other baby mama is a Capricorn, like I said, and she had some friends of friends, okay, on my Facebook. I found out that she was actually a church member or whatever, connected to other church members that I went to church with. So I'm looking at her. I said, okay. So she was about maybe, I would say, um, maybe 5 years younger than him. So when I found out who she was, actually, the universe just set me up to just find out what was going on over and over again. Okay. So I actually found out who she was just by, photos, things like that on Facebook, his mother being my friend on Facebook, things like that. So I seen her one day, I pulled up at the store. She parked right next to me. And I'm like, there's too many signs of bullshit going on around me. So sometimes things are just right in your face. So she didn't know who I was, but I knew who she was. In this life, a lot of times that can happen. You could be sitting parked right next to a motherfucker. You don't even know if they know you. And I'm like, okay, this is his karmic. So she was a karmic soulmate to him. So he was actually dealing with a false twin and a karmic soulmate. So I was just looking at her and I was just like, oh, so this is his type. You know what I mean? Like when I looked at myself, I was like, okay, I know I look pretty good, but when I looked at the other people that he was cheating with, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, really? Okay. I hate to be judgmental, but I was just like, you know what? This is what you like. Okay. This is exactly what you like. And I'm glad I could talk about this right now because a lot of times you can't talk about shit. I'm over it and past it, tennis wars, all that shit now, so I can talk about it. This is my story. This story is going to help somebody else. So, um, I can say that I found out that she lived there. Okay. Because he used to describe her vehicle and, all this other stuff before I even seen her at the store. So something told me again, your intuition is speaking to you. Drive down that street. Why is he looking down that street? So when I drove down there, I seen, you know, some of his belongings or whatever, like there on the porch or whatever. And then I actually rode down there on a summer day and seen her come out the front door. So I'm like, okay, again, he's telling me that this is one of his cousins or uncle's house or whatever the fuck it is. So I was like, okay. So it's crazy how somebody can lie straight to your face when you ask them certain questions. Okay, or they just trying to keep you out of their business or whatever, whatever. He was definitely keeping his options open, I would say. He was dealing with 3 different women, you know, and pretty much in the 7 of Cups. And I was just like, whoa, he doesn't know who he wants to be with. He doesn't know if he wants to be with me. He doesn't know if he wants to be with this Gemini. He doesn't know if he wants to be with the Capricorn. So I'm like, okay, I'm in the fucking circle. So the shit was crazy. It was fucking so crazy that I was like, I was going crazy. I was just like, you know what? I like this person a lot. They keep coming over. We keep hanging out. We keep doing stuff together. Sex was involved. And then I was like, really like, oh, what the fuck? You know, this is before, this is really like before I even got married to my husband. I mean, all this shit was going on. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh my God, you were so stupid. You were not really, you wasn't looking into the cards. You wasn't trying to figure out who was who. You waited to the last minute. But when you get yourself tied up into situations and you're vibing with somebody, you try to, you know, push other shit out the way. But you're also finding yourself in competition with other people. So when I look at my false twin, number one, I would say the reason why we didn't get along is because of his Aquarius rising. Aquarius definitely is a sign that likes to keep their options open, you know, and they like a lot of alone time for sneakiness. You know what I mean? They can throw themselves a pity party a lot of times, and I feel like they want to stay in control of things. They want to put mind games into a situation to stay in control of your mind and the whole situation. Uh, as a Sagittarius, another part that was not good for me is his Cancer moon and his Cancer Venus. And I was a Scorpio. Listen, I'm a Scorpio moon and a Scorpio Venus, so Scorpio is a stronger sign when it comes to Cancer. Um, Cancer is more sensitive than Scorpio. You know what I mean? Because Scorpio takes charge in every situation. If anything, Cancer will be learning from Scorpio, but both signs is very, I would say, very, very intuitive. You know what I mean? Sometimes he would just say things and it would be true. And I would be like, whoa, you know, like, how did he know that? Sometimes he would say something to me, just random shit, like, oh, you're about to go do this, or you about to, I know you did it. Listen, he was very intuitive. But me, I never confirmed anything that he was saying. Never. You know, I might have told him, like, hey, you're intuitive. Maybe you should be doing what I'm doing. Maybe you should try tarot or something like that. He was like, no, I'm against that. I don't believe in that or something like that. or that's just a coincidence. Sometimes you can meet people, they may have water placements, but they're not tapped into their spiritual gifts. So sometimes the water in somebody's chart doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Because they're not using it. What I feel like I was placed in this person's life to help them, tap into their gifts, but they were resisting pretty much. Yeah. So, like I said, very intuitive guy. And man, it was crazy. I'm like, I know he knows what he's doing. He liked to hide a lot of things from me, you know, a lot of them. He was the type of person that, he wouldn't share his feelings a lot until the last minute. If he felt like you were going to leave him alone, then he would open up and be like, oh, well, I care about you. I love you, you know. But during the connection, there was like a very unemotional feeling with a Cancer moon or Cancer Venus person. So, yeah, when I look at the manipulation that came from him, it was all in him being a Gemini cusper. Yep, he was a cusp. He also had it, the Gemini in his Mercury. So I was watching everything. I knew his placements, but I was just like, sometimes when you know somebody's placements, you're ignoring them. The thing that I noticed towards the end of the connection was his Leo North Node. And with that Leo there, that brought out a lot of anger. And I feel like he was very disturbed and very depressed in his situation. I mean, but his emotions of a Cancer moon, I feel like the Cancer moon this year has probably drove somebody to fuck crazy. Had to. Because Cancer is one of the most insecure signs that I have ever met in my life. Cancer moon, I meant. Cancer moons, yeah, they're crazy and all over the place. Don't know what they want, attaching themselves to any and everything, you know, not knowing where to place their feelings, just showing up as a leech to me, in the cars, and also just looking at them, when they're dealing with other people, just total leeches. It could be family, friends, neighbors, whoever, people they feel like is close to them, cousins, shit like that. They leash themselves on everybody, okay? And I was just like, oh, this is some crazy shit. um, let's talk about the verbal abuse, okay? Verbal abuse can be very fucked up, like when you're dealing with somebody. I know somebody on this channel probably experienced it, but with my false twin, that person has said some shit to me. I mean, of course, the number one thing is, I hate you. That just comes out of nowhere, okay? Things like that. When you're mad, let me tell you how the Cancer moon works though, because when this person verbally abuses, says a whole bunch of crazy shit, the next day, they want to apologize. Okay? Aquarius, they do the same thing. They say a lot of shit and then they want to apologize later after you've moved on and everything else. You know, me as a Scorpio moon, I don't forgive too easily, so that did not work. Okay? I was in revenge mode by the time you're coming back to me saying, I apologize for calling you a bitch. I'm apologizing for saying uh fuck fuck your deceased parent, just very harsh stuff that was being said to me. Okay? Ignorant shit. There's a lot of ignorant people in this world. And I notice how people communicate with people when they are mad. When people say something ignorant to you that knows and they know that it's going to hurt you, but they say it anyway. So, yeah, I really feel like I've been put on this earth to help the people on this channel or people around me because I've been through a lot. I really have been through a lot. And it seems like I've been through so many situations that I can definitely help anybody that comes to me without the cards involved. So when I look at my false twin, I feel like, this person was begging me to stay in a connection. I'm going to talk about the end when I ended it with them. They were begging me to stay in a connection that I was no longer interested in because this person has did everything they could to ruin the connection. They sabotaged the whole connection by connecting themselves with other people the whole time we were together. And that's a fucked up feeling. And it's the crazy thing for somebody to want to stay with you knowing that they're keeping their options open. Okay. And knowing that they cannot be anything to you, like they can't add anything to your life, but they still want to stay with you. That's how you know you're fucking with a false twin or a karmic soulmate because they know that they're making your life worse, but they don't care. They have nothing else to do. Somebody else doesn't want them, so they want to bother you, and they want to lie to you and manipulate you into thinking that they care when they can get sidetracked at any moment. So let me talk about the karmic children. A lot of times when you're dealing with people and you know they're karmic, or false or whatever, you also allow those karmic people and those false um, children into your life as well. Okay? A lot of times we go out there and we date people, find out they're karmics and stuff, and they have children, and we allow them to bring their children into our lives. We have connections with the children, we do stuff with them, but it's all for nothing. All for nothing because it was never meant to be. So some of y'all wondering why didn't this child get along with me, or why wasn't I able to do anything with this child? Like I was with this person for a long time and we never took the children anywhere, or we never, you know, or we never even had kids. Some of y'all was with karmics and shit, and you never had kids with them, or false twins and shit. Some things are just not meant to be. But a lot of y'all need to stop attaching yourselves, and I'm talking to Sagittarius. Stop attaching yourselves to people who have children and you know that they're no good for your life. Okay, why are you wasting your time going out here Christmas shopping, buying all this stuff for people, doing stuff for them? For what? To waste your time. Sometimes you get with a karmic and they're expecting you to do things for their children. You know what I mean? That's not your place. So I also experienced, the karmic children. Yeah, thank God I did not, have any kids with my false twin. Because if I would have had a child with my false twin, I would be wrapped into a karmic cycle that I don't want to be in. Um, I do have a child though. I can admit this. This is something that nobody wants to admit. But I do have a child with a karmic soulmate. He has the same moon that I have, and he's a Libra. And I knew that it wasn't going to work out with me and him. The whole relationship was based on sex, pretty much on his end. I liked him a lot, but once I seen that he had a sex addiction, I was done with him. So I totally moved on from it. And I know that if I ever contacted him again, it would only be about sex. And I can admit that he is not a good parent. Not a good father figure at all. Maybe from a distance he is, but not in person. So I'm not on here to do any bashing. I'm just on here being real. I am opening up my life to you so you guys can get a little bit more personal with me, because a lot of people don't do that. You know, if somebody's going to look into your shit, they can do that. This fucking YouTube is out of control. You can't trust a lot of people on here because a lot of people do a lot of dark shit. I'm not one of them. I don't do that shit. You know, that's why I said love and light to you guys the other day. I do not do dark shit. I don't want to dive into it. I don't want to deal with it. I like to focus on protecting myself only. So, as far as things like that, if it has something to do with protecting me or the people around me, yes, you know, I'll do something like that. But all that other shit, keep that shit the fuck away from me. Okay? So, yeah, I was really shy at first opening up about my story, because, because of the people on YouTube. But I said, fuck it, because there's people on here, readers or random motherfuckers, whatever. They're at home doing their cards on you and shit. You don't even fucking know it. So why keep my personal story a secret? I have nothing to hide. If you want to go buy a deck and look at my shit, you'll find the same shit that I'm probably talking about. So I don't really give a fuck. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know, and I want to help you guys get through. I want to help y'all get through some stuff you're going through now, but I want y'all to know that, you know, people are crazy in this fucking world, okay? Somebody watching me right now could count how many fucking karmics on their finger that they fucking met, okay? Somebody's like, damn, how many karmics do I have to meet before I meet my real twin? That's the same shit I said. How did I get my real twin? Is the real answer. Through prayer, through a sincere prayer and crying out to God. Yeah, that's how I got my real twin. Just being tired and fed up, and, you know, like I said, a sincere prayer to the God of this universe. That's how I pray. Whoever created this place, that's who I pray to get where I am now. Because before I met my twin, all I met was karmic people, people that were stuck in their past. When I look at them now, they're still doing the same shit they were doing before. I had a boyfriend when I was 15 years old, and we broke up by the time I was 21. But I want to talk about him. He's still doing the same shit. He was a Pisces. He had a lot of water in his chart. Definitely soulmate, karmic connection. And he's now married to a Capricorn. And me and him had a lot of issues. He brought in a lot of, I wouldn't say verbal, but physical abuse. His mother was abused. His mom, yeah, I would say his mom was abused by his dad. So he had a lot of problems. One thing that I can say, and that I'm telling you right now, I can help a lot of women out here on this channel, because I've been through a lot of physical abuse in relationships by one person. One person, okay? He did more than another one did, but I've actually met a lot of different abusers, okay? But I would say he was probably the worst. I would say out of abusers that I've met, because there's a lot of fucking Chris Browns out here, men that like to control women. They don't want women to be smarter than them. They don't want women to have more money than them. They don't want people talking back to them. They want them to be submissive and all this shit. Yeah, there's a lot of ignorant motherfuckers out here. This is nothing against no fucking men or something, but a lot of men are not raised right. They're not. They haven't been taught how to be understanding. They just want to control. So if there was any abuse coming my way, I would say it came my way because of how I looked and the jealousy. Okay, how I dressed, things like that. So I guess I was getting blamed for being beautiful and the way I dressed or whatever. But whatever, whatever. That's the most abuse that came towards me. Like I can't dress up, I can't wear makeup, I can't put this on, I can't. They were just getting mad. Like I don't want you to look good for nobody but me. I want you to look like a plain Jane. So I'm like, okay. As I got older, I got with other men and I found out that there's men out here that don't care about you dressing up nice, looking good for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was on both sides, the jealousy side and then the men that pretty much, didn't care about me wearing a nice dress or some makeup. So, people always come to me and they're like, why were you in an abusive relationship? Because men are just jealous. Sometimes men are just jealous of you. And I believe that, men go through abusive relationships as well. I'm not leaving men out too. They go through verbal abuse and a whole bunch of other shit too. I'm not one of those people that's just going to focus on women or just myself. Um, but yeah, I noticed, now that I look back at my life, I noticed that there was a lot of Pisces energy there. It was following me around, you know, and sometimes, like when you're having a lot of problems with different signs and stuff, you may have to just cut them off. You know what I mean? I did that. I don't know who's listening tonight, but I'm like, hey, what sign did you cut off for life? What sign is dead to you? I always say Aquarius. That sign is dead to me. I can't deal with them. I could never deal with a Cancer, you know. None of that shit. There's more, but when I look at the ones that really hurt me and have problems with, mm, it's going to be it's probably going to be sun signs, definitely. You know, the sun sign of Pisces, definitely. Hell no. As a Sagittarius, no Capricorns. I cannot deal with a Capricorn as a Sagittarius. That would just turn me completely off just because they show up as sneaky snakes all the time. So I can't do that. Once you find out what's good for you, it's good for you. Don't judge another person because they say they don't like other signs or whatever the fuck. You know, Somebody told me I was weird one time because I said, I'm not ever fucking with a motherfucking sign like that. So they're like, oh, you just gonna judge them because of their sign? Um, it's not about me judging someone. It's about me just not fucking with that shit because I know that it's bad for my spirit, you know. So I'm gonna go back into talking about the chemistry that I had with a false twin. Yeah, because you can have chemistry with them too. You can have all type of good times, bad times with these motherfuckers, but I'm gonna focus on the good part so you can know, what's blinding you because sometimes you don't know the hidden shit. You know, I could be talking to someone right now and they like, oh, you know what? My twin is great, but I want to hear about, what's not going well with the twin as well. Like if you are going to talk about the twin flame connection. But yeah, they know how to manipulate a lot. They really do, you know. So it gets crazy. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between the real and the fake with the trickery of Gemini. It's crazy. So I'm gonna say one little thing before I go because I'm gonna tell you that I had some insane chemistry half of the time when I wasn't separated from my twin, my false twin, because you go on separation with your false twin too. definitely. You know, all the same things that you go through with a I would say a karmic soulmate for sure. It reminds me of a karmic soulmate. So yeah, it had some insane chemistry, you know, vibing, smoke, drinking, listen to music, watching movies, going out, doing all that shit, you know, cooking for each other, doing all that fucking shit. But behind the scenes, motherfuckers be cheating. Cheating like a motherfucker. They be all up in your face like, oh, I love you. Like, telling you you have the, you know, the best sex or the best fucking head they ever fucking had, saying all this fucking lies and shit and pumping your head up and stuff and telling you that, oh, I tell people good things about you and, you know, I'm always bragging about you, but in the background they doing a whole bunch of fuck shit. So twin flames is crazy for real, but they always try to blame everything on you. So it's like they try to fuck with your mind too. Like if they do something to you and then you leave them, they be, you know, trying to blame you or trying to bring it up over and over again. You know, like it was your fault that the connection ended. One thing I can say though, that this story is going to be out of control. Like I said, I am not going to do this shit in order because too much shit happened to me and I got too many fucking memories. But I keep focusing on the end of the connection because at the end, I never wanted to see that motherfucker again. And when I seen him, after we broke up and I seen him again, it just, he was totally dead to me. I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to look him in the eye. I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to get eye contact. I felt like if I got eye contact with him, I just would have been, I don't know. I can't even explain it. I would have felt like hurt all over again or something. Like, leave me the fuck alone. When somebody hurts you to the point of you being fed up, man, you don't want to give them eye contact again. You just hope that they just carry on and do what they gotta do. You know, cause I be feeling like I be really feeling like the devil was sending people to me. You know what I mean? But with that false twin, man, the false twin was really a motherfucker. And when I say that he never was stable, have you ever met somebody and they were never stable the whole time you met them? Either they were house to house or had car issues or relationship to relationship. That was just the worst. So I was just like, wow, like this person is comfortable doing this stuff. Like it's a part of their energy. Like they just, you know, they just love it, you know. And I was like, he must be the type of man that needs to marry about 4 or 5 wives. You know what I mean? Like, dude, for real, like you should have been one of these people that get married to 5 different people. For real. Like they do in other countries. You know what I mean? And my husband, he's from Africa, but he's not one of those men. You know what I mean? When people think of Africa, they're like, oh, they marry a whole bunch of wives. It's not all of them that do that. It's the ones that choose to do it. And they can't even do it legally, you know, because when I got married there, they told me, like, you can't marry a whole bunch of people legally, but you can marry one person and have a whole bunch of mistresses. So I would not sign up for that myself. But I've definitely been in a situation not knowing that I was in one like that with a false twin. And when these women start popping up, I was like, whoa, 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 who are you? Who are you? Who are you? You know, out of all the women that my false twin cheated with, I only approached one of them. because he pissed me off so bad that I contacted one of them and I was like, hey, like, dude won't give me my key, so can you tell him to give me my key? And she's like, who the hell are you? I'm like, we broke up. He still got the key to my place and give me my key. So immediately she called his mother and then he called me and was like, she called my mom. Like, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck at this point. We're done. Like, I don't care who knows about shit. Yes, I hit your baby mama up and I told her that you had my fucking key. And I told her that you drove her car to my house multiple times and I did not know it was her vehicle. So he was doing a lot. He was doing a lot up under my nose and I did not even know what he was doing. So, yeah. Listen, when I come back, I ain't gonna even talk about this false shit. I'm gonna talk about my real twin, the one that I'm with now that keeps a smile on my face and a sun card in my fucking cards. Shit. So, yeah, I'm gonna talk about that next. But I will talk to y'all later because I'm just on here rambling like a motherfucker. But trust and believe it. You'll know if you with a false twin because they're going to treat you like dirt and they're going to tell you to accept it. They're going to want you to accept it so much you're going to be so pissed and you're going to probably leave them multiple times.